The Gen 2 J2K just wasn't cutting it now that everyone's moving on to Gen 3 paddles. So I decided it's time for an upgrade. Let's add a plus sign to the J2K. Gen 3 power, baby! Now my hands battles looks more like this. The J2K Plus really feels like an evolved version of the J2K. The increase in power isn't derived from any changes in weight, balance, or shape, but rather in the new Gen 3 floating core technology, where foam is placed in between the core, running along the edges, and compresses as you hit the ball to increase the power. Let's compare the two paddles at 0.1x speed. You can see on top the J2K Plus is clearly speeding up the ball much faster than the J2K. The ball arrives to my opponent 30% faster. This obviously gives me a huge advantage in hands battles, and it was also noticeable in counters during a hands battle, although not quite to the same degree as the initial speed up. The J2K Plus deflected the ball about 11% faster. To be fair though, it wasn't like every single point I was winning with the J2K Plus, or that I couldn't win a single point with the J2K, but it was enough of a difference in power for it to be clearly noticeable between me and my opponent, and it was obvious which paddle I was using despite not being able to tell based on appearance alone. I'm sure many of you are wondering how my J2K Plus break-in period went, and while online there seems to be a lot of differing reports about how it went, for me it was very smooth. Even the first day out of the box, it was playing much more powerful than my J2K, and it was clear to both myself and my opponents after just a couple games. It really felt like it kept all the good qualities of the J2K with great sweet spot and with more power. After the first session, I decided to do some sound testing to compare the sounds of the cores as the ball hits the paddle. I used the Gen 2 J2K and the Yola Mod TA15 as reference points, and it's clear that they are in opposite ends of the spectrum with the J2K Plus and J2TI Plus in the middle. Speaking of the Mod TA15, as you can tell from the sound testing, the J2K Plus is not as powerful as the Mod TA15, but the mod is also being banned in July of 2025 for violating PB Core standards, and the J2K Plus does pass the PB Core standards, so it's not really a fair comparison, but I thought I'd let you guys know. By the fourth session, my J2K Plus had broken in fully, and was powerful enough to do some serious damage, literally. So if that doesn't convince you to get this paddle, I don't know what will. Use discount code DYPickleball-Kevlar to get $20 off your J2K Plus. Links will be in the description below. Any proceeds will be used to support this channel and bringing you this kind of content, and also to pay any medical bills I may or may not be responsible for. There have been people online concerned about core crushing with this paddle. For me, 2 months in, there has not been any core crushing based on the sound or pressing into the paddle or shaking it. And the playability and feel of the paddle has been consistent since the first week of play. If you are still concerned about core crushing, Honolulu Pickleball does have a great refresh program for the J2K Plus and the J2TI Pluses. The paddles are under warranty for 3 months, and you'll get a completely new paddle free of charge if it core crushes within 3 months. And between 3 and 6 months, you can purchase refresh paddles at 50% off. Quick note about the J2TI Plus. Everything I've said in this video about the J2K Plus also applies to the J2TI Plus. The only difference is that the J2TI Titanium is more plush and more control-oriented feeling than the J2K and its Kevlar, but honestly I couldn't really feel much of a difference after playing with each paddle long enough, so it really just comes down to your preference for surface. If you prefer getting the J2TI Plus or any non-Kevlar paddle, use discount code DYPickleball for 10% off. One last thing I'll mention is that you should be sure that you can even control Gen 2 paddles before you even consider Gen 3 paddles. The J2K Plus allows me to hit really fun, big, powerful shots, but I did struggle with resets and dinks, especially ones out of the air where the extra pop from the core popped up the ball. It took a lot of practice and drilling for me to rein it in. In the end, the power and control trade-off was worth it to me, and now I'm using the J2K Plus as my new main paddle. Be sure to like and subscribe if you found this content helpful. Thanks for watching.